All right,
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us today for training on how to use public purchase. And Christine, take it away.
Thank you, Ellie. Welcome, everybody. My name is Christine Bonilia, and I work with the County of San Mateo Procurement Division. Today, we're going to be talking about public purchase, which is an e-procurement platform that the county uses to post its public bids and RFPs. First, we'll show you how to sign up with public purchase. Then we'll take a look at some of our county solicitations. And lastly, we'll show you how to submit a sealed bid response. Afterward, we'll have time for questions. And if you have any questions during the training, please feel free to raise your hand. So let's get started. First, we'll go to publicpurchase.com. And at the top right-hand corner of the screen, we'll click on Register. This will take us to step 1 of the vendor registration process, and the first thing we'll need to do is select a plan. You can see that there are 2 different options available. On the left, we have bid syndication, which is available for $399 per year. With this plan, you'll have access to more agencies, more bid opportunities, and more features. This includes customized notifications, a comprehensive search tool, and the ability to browse bids by commodity. You can click on More Info to learn more about this plan, and you can also scroll to the bottom for a side-by-side comparison. Bid syndication has a lot to offer. However, we recommend starting off with a free registration, which is all that you need to do business with our county. I'll go ahead and select this option so that we can move forward into step 2. Within step 2, you'll need to fill in your company information. Everything on the left, marked in bold, is required, and everything not required is marked on the right as optional. So let's say the name of my company is Redwood City Outreach Group. I'm at 123 Sequoia Street in Redwood City, California. Zip code 94063. And we're in the Pacific time zone. And then if I want, I can enter more details, like my website, my federal tax ID, my DUNS number, how long my company has been in business, the type of company I have, and a description. All of this information will allow the agencies I work with to get to know me better. Moving on, I will enter the main contact for my public purchase account. So I'll enter my name here and an email address and a phone number. Moving on, finally, I'll select a username and password. And if everything looks good, I'll hit next step, which will take us to step 3, classifications. Classifications are commodity codes that represent the goods and services your organization provides. So if you browse the list, you might want to start with healthcare and social assistance. Then, as you drill down through the menu options, you can select specific codes. I'll select a few from this section. And then when I'm done with this category, I'll close it back up. And then we can take another look at the list. Towards the bottom, we have other services, so I'll click on that one next. And here we have religious, grant-making, civic, professional, and similar organizations. So that might be a good fit. And I'll click on just a few here. And if I want to search for specific keywords, I can move over here to the search tab. So I can enter keywords like outreach or advocacy to see what codes come up. Now that I've got some classifications selected, I can review them up top. And if I want to delete anything, I can use the trash can icon. After that, if everything looks good, we will proceed to the next step. In step 4, we'll be selecting regions. Here, you can select all of the regions that you want to work with. We can select all, or we can select individually. Of course, we want to make sure that California is selected before we move on. Step 5 has 2 parts. First, we'll need to select all of the different types of agencies that we'd like to work with. Again, we can select all, or we can select individually. And of course, we will want to make sure the option for county is selected. Next, we'll review our notification preferences. These are the messages that we'll be receiving from public purchase. The default has all of these options selected. Let's keep it this way to make sure that we don't miss any information. Later on, if you find you're receiving too many emails, you can always go back and edit these preferences. So let's click on Next Step. And once again, we will be asked if we want to register for bid syndication. If we click Yes, we will be directed to enter our payment information. And if we click No Thank You, then you'll arrive at the final step, where you will need to review all of your information before you submit. If I see any errors, I can go back to edit the previous sections. But if everything looks good, I'll click Next Step, and I'll be immediately taken to a confirmation page. I'm not actually going to click Next Step since I'm not a vendor and I don't want to sign up today. But when you click Next Step, you will be immediately taken to the confirmation that lets you know your registration has been submitted. Typically, accounts are approved within 24 hours, and after that, you'll receive an email with instructions on how to log in. So I will go to the login page. And then with Ellie's help, I'm going to hide my screen for a minute so that I can log in to my agency account. And then we'll switch over to the vendor view so that we can see what you'll be seeing. Ellie, can I ask for your help in hiding my screen? Or actually, I think I can do that here. Here we are. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'll need to share my screen again. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Okay, so now that we're logged in, we will start here on the vendor homepage. And the first thing we'll want to do is register with our agency, the County of San Mateo. I'll use the drop-down menus to select my region, California, and select my agency, the County of San Mateo. We'll scroll all the way down until we find our county so that you can view all of our solicitations. Since I work with the county, public purchase is letting me know that I'm already registered. However, you will see an option to register with the county, and once you click on that button, you will be able to view the bid board, all of the county solicitations which are here. If we hover over each listing, we can see a brief description. We can also see the dates and deadlines, the time left that we have to respond, and whether or not any addendums have been posted. Let's click on the first listing so we can take a look at the bid page. Here we have a solicitation posted by our Parks Department for engineering and management services for dredging of the Coyote Point Marina. At the top, we have an overview. First, we can see this is an RFP, which means that the county is looking for the best overall value rather than the lowest price. We can see the date the RFP was posted and the deadline for submissions and the bid contact. We'll also see a description, and if we scroll down, delivery instructions. We can see that for this RFP, hard copy proposals are being requested in addition to the electronic submission. Finally, at the very bottom of the page, we'll see the RFP and all of the other supplemental documents. Please review these documents very carefully and follow all of the instructions, or else your response may be disqualified. You'll also need to watch out for addendums. These are any changes that are being made to the solicitation. Addendums will be posted along the left-hand side of the bid page, and if we click on Track Changes, we can see that a new version of the RFP was posted. So I will return to the bid. Next, we'll talk about questions. If you have any questions about the RFP, please don't reach out to the bid contact. To maintain a fair process, we want all of our vendors to have access to the same information. So we ask that you use the question and answer function over here. On the questions page, we can see all the questions that have already been asked, as well as the answers. And if we scroll to the bottom, we can ask a question of our own. Next, we'll go back to the bid page and I will show you how to submit a response. We'll go to the bottom. Oh, you can see that I have already been working within this bid. So let's actually go back to the bid board and see if we can find another listing. Let's click on this last one, Patient Experience Assessment Services. And if I scroll down to the bottom, I'll click on Respond. And then I'll have the option, I'll first need to accept the terms and conditions set forth in the RFP document. If I have any exceptions to the terms and conditions, I'll select the middle option. And if I select no, then I won't be able to submit a response. Then I will enter my password. And here I'll be able to upload all of my bid files, and I can leave some general comments for the agency. Once I've responded, I can print my submitted information, or if I go back to the bid, I can edit my response. And I can change the files I've uploaded or anything else I need to revise. Since public purchase uses a sealed bid format, the county won't actually be able to view your bid submission until the RFP deadline has passed. So let's go back to the bid board and we'll take a look at some bids that have already been awarded. I will need to, once again, select my region and agency to return to the county's bid board. Sorry, just a moment. And if we go to close bids, we can see bids that have already been finalized and awarded. If we click on the first listing, an RFP with the San Bruno Police Department, we can see that the awarding information appears right here in the middle of the screen. We can download the Notice of Intent to Award, which tells us that the county has evaluated all of the bid responses and has selected a vendor for the contract award. So You might see other documents within this awarding section. You might see a recap of the bid, describing all the different vendors who participated. You might see tabulations of the price proposals, but always, unless the bid is canceled, you'll see the notice of intent to award, letting you know that the county is planning to move forward. Oops. Next, we'll show you the help topics. If I click up at the top on help, public purchase has a comprehensive selection of help topics. You can click on the different topics along the side for step-by-step instructions. Many of these sections have screenshots, so this is a great place to get started. But if you need more help, you can also choose to chat with a public purchase representative. Finally, you can follow up. Oops, let me get rid of this window. Finally, you can follow up by email at vendorsupport@publicpurchase.com. They'll be able to answer your specific questions. They'll be able to help you if something on the website isn't working. Public purchase does periodically shut off for site maintenance, so you will need to account for things like that when you're going to be submitting an RFP response. Please be sure you build in enough time. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us here at the county. You can contact the bid contact, although usually we prefer you ask questions in the system. You would contact the bid contact maybe if it's been a few months since the RFP closed and you still haven't seen any awarding information. You might want to reach out to this person here. You can also contact the County of San Mateo Procurement Division at procurement@smcgov.org. And then if we go home, we can see a listing of all the bids we are currently working on and responding to, so that we can keep an eye on all of these solicitations. We can see bids we've been specifically invited to, although we at the county don't typically use that feature. We like to have our solicitations competitive and fair and public. So of course, we don't really want to select specific vendors. We prefer to open it up to everybody. And if you're using the free version of public purchase, you will need to register with each agency that you're going to be working with before you have the option to view their solicitations and respond to them. If you sign up for the paid bid syndication option, you can browse through bids posted by any agency, and then you can sign up with them later on. Different agencies have different requirements for signing up. Some agencies will ask you to accept their terms and conditions. Some agencies will ask you to upload a W-9 or enter some more details about your company. We don't ask for anything other than for you to sign up because we don't want to restrict our business. We want to include as many vendors as we possibly can. So we want to make this as easy as possible for you. Previously, we would, sometimes we post bids and RFPs directly on each department's website. And occasionally departments will still use this option, but we want to recommend public purchase because it's free, it's easy to use, there's a lot of great training materials available, and there's a written record of everything that happens in the system. So we strongly encourage you, don't wait, sign up for public purchase today. It may take a few business days in order for your account to be approved. And of course, public purchase will need to get in touch with you to verify all of your company information. We've really never had them reject a vendor application as long as you're a real company and you're authorized to do business. Here in the United States, your application will be approved and you can start working with us right away. We are almost to the end of our training topics. We can play around a little bit in the system, although Many of these tools won't be available to you unless you signed up for bid syndication. The free registration will give you all of the basic functions and features. You can electronically reply to bids, you can submit questions, you can browse through different agencies, you can get help. But if you want to invest in the paid plan, there will be additional features available to you, like the search tool. If we click on this option, we see that the bid search tool is only available to bid syndication customers. But if we had this tool, we could search bids by keyword, by the name of our agency, by the different regions. And this includes not only the United States, it also includes Canada, so all of North America. You can select dates if you have an idea of maybe when it was posted, or if you want to get really specific and you already have the bid ID number, you can search by that field. And if you've signed up for the free account, you can upgrade to bid syndication at any time. You don't have to feel like you're locked in just because you didn't select the right option when you were signing up. Let's move over to the next tab, which is Browse. And again, this is a feature that's only available to bid syndication customers, although we can view here with the free account and see what we're missing out on. You can see all sorts of different categories and classifications. And if we had bid syndication, we could click on each of these categories and we could see what bids are available to us. My stuff, this is our user information. I am not going to edit any of this information here. Messages. Can't really send messages in the system, but Public Purchase will save a copy of all of the notifications that you get. For example, if you've posted a question, or if a bid has closed or has been released, or if awarding information has been posted, you can find those messages here. In case you accidentally delete them from your email, you can always go back in and find a copy. And then tools. Have an admin account, so we won't look at that. Within tools, we can search for different agencies. I showed you already how to search using the drop-down menus, but we can search for different agencies by name or by date or by registration status, whether we're registered with them or we're not registered with them. Then we can select the next tab, Classifications, and we already reviewed classifications when we were signing up. We selected some commodity codes that correspond to the goods and services that our organization provides. Public Purchase, during the sign-up process, Public Purchase uses the NAICS codes, which are a national system of classification codes. But there are many other different types of codes and classifications that are built into the system. So if you want to get more specific, you can add more classifications here. You can see that SIC stands for Standard Industrial Classification. You can select different types, different agencies might have their own classifications. And of course, again, on every page, we can see information about the bid syndication service. So you can explore this on your own. All that you'll really need are the classifications that you select when you're signing up, and that will help Public Purchase automatically connect you to the opportunities that are a good fit for you. Next, we have regions. We already selected some of these regions when we signed up, but if we want to change our preferences, we can go back and add more regions or delete them. Notifications. Again, we saw this step when we were signing up. We can select different types of government agencies that we want to work with. Maybe we've just been working only with the county, but now we want to start working with cities, with states, with school districts, with other organizations such as law enforcement bureaus, educational agencies. We can go ahead and change those selections. And we can also change our notification messages if we find that we're receiving too many emails. If we don't want public purchase to constantly invite me to sign up for bid syndication, we might want to uncheck this option. And then at the end, you'll save. Forms. This is another section available to bid syndication customers. And this is a really great feature because you can upload a document library. If you respond to bids and RFPs, there are some documents that you will need to upload again and again and again. You'll probably be using your company W-9. Or if you have some standard documents that you sent out with all of your bid responses, you can upload those files here. And then you can just easily click on them when you want to submit a response in the system. Business types and purchase orders, we won't be using these at all. So we won't need to show you those features. And I know we've only spent a few minutes, but I have to say we have looked at almost all of the tools that are available to you with the free registration option. Now I would like to open the floor to questions. If you have any specific questions, we can go ahead and try to answer those.
Great. Thanks so much, Christine. So just as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, you should see a Q&A at the bottom of your screen. You can type in any questions related to public purchase that you have there. I think the chat box is also another option. And then if you'd like to ask a question verbally, you should be able to click the raise hand button. That way we can submit a request to unmute you. And I haven't seen any questions come through, but maybe we'll just give it maybe a minute or two more, see if anyone has any questions they'd like to submit. And just as a reminder, we will be posting this recording as well as some a slide deck that will walk you through the process that Christine walked you through for reference. So you'll have that along with the video, and I can drop that web link where it will be posted in the next week or so in the chat. That way you all have that. All right, I'm not seeing any questions, but maybe in case somebody's typing, we can give it a minute or two more here. But I will drop that on the San Mateo County Procurement website. If you scroll down, there's a link to resources for community-based organizations. So I'll drop that link in the chat. And you can also find the slides from the previous event that the county hosted. And we will also be getting a video link up to the county's previous training that was all about the RFP or request for proposals process, including contracting and the procurement process. So thanks again for joining us today. And I think that's it, unless Christine, you had anything to add?
I guess before we leave you, I can show you one last thing. And I'll show you, how to search RFPs on the county's website. If we go to Google, we can just type in SMC RFP, which will take us to the Human Resources Department webpage for requests for proposals. And here we can see a live listing of all the bids that are active on public purchase. So we can easily see them without needing to first log in. Of course, once you click on each of these listings, you will be directed to log in or sign up if you don't already have an account. But we recommend just bookmarking this page, and then you can keep an eye on all of our open opportunities. And as Ali said, we're going to be sharing a slide deck afterwards. We didn't go through this presentation, but I can show you that we have some screenshots available of all the different steps that we just showed you. It doesn't have everything we talked about, but it will take you through the 7-step vendor registration process. It will also show you the confirmation page, how to log in, how to select the region and agency you want to work with on the home page. It will show you how to register with the County of San Mateo and access our bid board.
I think
then
we're still seeing your internet browser. I don't know if you had pulled up the slides there.
Okay. Thank you very much for telling me.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Let me go back to the beginning then. I don't use Zoom very often, in case you can't tell. So Ellie, can you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I will just show you very quickly the screenshots. This is the vendor sign-up process, confirmation. This is what it's going to look like when your registration is submitted. It will let you know that public purchase will be reaching out to you to confirm your account information before you're approved. Here we can see a screenshot of the login page. Oops. Then the home page where we'll select the region and agencies we want to work with. We'll select the county. We will click on register. We'll go to the bid board and see that we're signed up to work with County of San Mateo. And then we'll have some screenshots of the bid pages and all the different functions that are on here. How to submit a response, and finally how to get help and how to contact us. So we will share all of this information, these training materials after today. So that's it. Unless there's any questions, I don't see anything here.
Yeah, me neither. And I'll just end today by saying thank you so much for tuning in to the training. And for those of you joining us live today, reminder that you should see a brief survey pop up in a window once you exit this training. If you could please provide responses to those questions, that way, that the information you provide there will help us to improve future training. So thanks so much for joining us, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Ellie. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.